going on, YouTube? It is the final day of kind of getting the Outback back on the road. I actually just drained and changed the front diff fluid. We checked and topped off ATF. Oil has been checked and topped, and coolant has been bled. So now it's ready to rip, I think. Behind me I got the Lowglow, and we already have the Outback on the quick jacks. So like in some of the previous installs, I'm going to try and do this kind of bridging the gap, or just doing a more extensive, I guess, install for the most part. Some people had some questions towards the last ones, and I just wanted to clear those up. So hopefully this one is a little bit better, and if not, then we have one more chance with Matt's car. I do have some 70% isopropyl alcohol that I was using for kind of prepping the underbody of the car. So I wiped all these surfaces that we may be mounting to, getting them all nice and clean. Patty. So for the Outback, or the Legacy, we did 90 centimeters for the front. Side was 180 centimeters. And the rear is 50 centimeters. Again, we like how the bags are labeled with which strips, just making the install as quick and easy as possible. All right, again, these are the little adhesive mounts that you can put zip ties through for cable management. This is going to be the power harness and some of the other wiring for the controller. This one has all of our extensions, and it actually does have the power connector piece in there as well. But these are going to be all your strip connector extension wires. Always nice to have extra zip ties on hand, and when doing these installs, keeping everything tucked away from moving parts, anything hot, and making sure everything is nice. Got the Bluetooth controller, that way you're able to go through your different modes, change colors, speeds. This is the instruction manual. If you need to, you can pause it here. And here's the back QR code, so you can download the correct application for the controller. Tells you how to wire it, which I'll kind of quickly go through that again with you guys when I'm doing the install on the Outback this time. Not bad. And of course, gotta love all the stickers. There's actually a couple new ones, kind of hyped. Lowglow forklift. Couple of these. The Lowglow lawnmower with the Turbski and the Cambi. Well, I kinda tried to open up all the packages, lay everything out a little bit better, just so I can go over things just kind of really quickly one more time. Again, we have our 3 bags of strips, which are each labeled and have lengths written on the back of the bags. This is going to be our on-off switch to turn on and off the Lowglow, terminals to connect to the battery, and that just has to be run into the car. Zip ties, we have our controller. These again are our extension cables that will be connecting, say, the front strips to the side strips. then side strips to the rear strips, etc. These are again the little adhesive mounts you can put a zip tie through, and then you'll be able to clip a wire, you know, wherever essentially. This one is going to be the Y splitter, so that is going to go in the front of the vehicle for the front bumper strips. That way they'll start directionally, you know, doing the patterns the correct way. This is going to be the, it's going to connect into the Magic controller, basically just connecting to the strips. And this actually connects to that. So, now that all that is out and open, we can continue. My plan of attack for this is going to be trying to do all of my wiring first, and then I'll be able to just slap the strips on, connect everything, and show you kind of where I'm placing and tucking my wires away from all these moving parts and hot things. Alright, I'm actually going to take a quick breather just because I just finished doing all the Outback maintenance stuff, and we'll try and put a link to that video somewhere up here or in the description. But if you haven't checked that out already, then give it a watch. It's a lot of cool little maintenance that we ended up doing on the Outback. So far so good actually as well, just a little update. Alright, we're back. I grabbed our power harness, and our positive and ground can go to the battery there. This one is going to go to that controller box, so we'll probably actually end up shortening this a little bit. And then this one, it needs to go through the firewall and into the car itself for the switch to activate, turn it on and off. The easiest way to do that is, in my opinion, through, there's a little grommet in here, which goes to the driver footwell. So all you gotta do is remove your wheel and either remove or just loosen the fender liner enough to be able to access it. So okay, now that our wheel is removed, I just need, it looks like a Phillips head and my panel remover tool. I'm also gonna grab a 10 mil. Might as well take off the mud flap for now. The switch wiring I tucked into the fender, and now that the fender liner is hardware removed from this side, I was able to see the wire coming from up here. So the camera will focus. And yeah, now we have this that we can tuck over. We're gonna end up actually tucking it into this little clip stock body has, and then I might even throw a zip tie on it. This is that grommet that I was talking about, and all I did was cut a little hole, and I didn't actually test to see if the hole was big enough, but it is not. Okay, I gotta make it bigger, but I'm just gonna insert the wiring through the grommet into the passenger footwell. Next thing I'm gonna have to do, I started removing these plastics, but I'm going to have to remove this kick panel. That'll allow me to see up in here and hopefully be able to grab the switch. The switch I will then run up into this kind of fuse behind the dash section, and then probably just put it in one of these dead switch buttons or something like that. Alright, so things are still laid out. I ripped all that stuff apart down there, and just trying to, there's not really any light. But up here, there is a rubber grommet, and that's where you'll see your wire coming through the firewall. So I took out the switch blank, and then I'm able to just plug in and then tuck this back in there. And our switch all ran up here. We're just tucking our wire. Doesn't have to be perfect for right now. And then I'm going to leave the tape on there just until we are ready to fully install it somewhere. Now that the switch is run, we have our positive and our ground for our battery, and then this positive and ground goes to, again, that the controller box. Alright, so we open this, give you a little screwdriver so you can do all your connections. And it's nicely labeled for all these different wires. So again, there's this connector that is going to go to your Y splitter for the front. That's going to plug into the 3 on this side. And then the 2 wires that we just saw in the engine bay are going to be on the left side for the power and ground to the box. All right, we just screwed those 2 wires into the connector. And now one side of the control box is done. All I'm going to do is kind of coil up this excess wiring and kind of zip tie it into the somewhere in here. Did the power, what is this? Power, data, and ground for the side to the Y splitter there. Did remove the grill, so I would have an easier time kind of managing my cables. And yeah, now I'm ready to run that down under the car, get my Y splitter, and then kind of start pre-planning where the strips are going to go for the front bumper. So I installed this front strip, just kind of got some of those Y splitter wires tucked up out of the way. Just made sure that mounting surface was clean, give it a press and hold, and then for some of these areas where it wasn't really going to have a nice mounting surface, just used a couple of zip ties, get them nice and out of the way. Finished the strip on this side, and now we will be able to run our splitter connection over through that fender well. Same thing on the driver's side. We have our extension strip wire connector all plugged in, and then I just, for my other installs, typically we'll just tuck them up behind the fender liner all the way over. Just kind of roughly show you. And then the side strips will be somewhere in here where it should just be able to kind of tuck it behind the side skirt or kind of behind the fender liner from behind the mud flap.